Hi, in this video I want to talk about pen and wash, pen and ink, using pens basically. I want to show you some of the equipment I use, some of the sketches that I do with that equipment, and how to make your own pen that will give some interesting line and texture to your images. So let's first of all have a look at some of the images that I produce with pen and ink. As you can see in my sketchbook, I've got lots of images. Mainly they're produced with a normal brush pen that you would buy from the shop, and I've got a series of grayscale pens as well that I use to add tone to the images, so that I can see when I get back to the studio where the shadow areas will be and where the lightest areas will be in my pictures. And you'll see that the sketching I do in these books is very free. There's not too much detail, I guess, just very quick line work that I can do standing up or even sitting down, obviously. But it's very quick and simple work. As you can see, the strokes are there, very big strokes. There's some dark strokes in the background to bring out the lights of the rooftops. And this is kind of how I work when I'm out and about sketching. And so what I want to do now is show you some of the kit that I use while I'm out and about sketching. As you can see, I use a variety of inks. I've got just normal Indian ink that you can buy from any good art supplier. I've got some liquid acrylic ink as well that I occasionally use in various colours. And also, perhaps not so common, I use Japanese ink sticks as well to produce my own ink. So you add water to your slate, and then you just gently rub your ink stick until you get the quality of paint that you want. And I generally use that for filling in areas, so I use a brush to apply that when I'm working. The pens I use is a variety of just normal pens really, but grayscale brush pens in particular. So to produce my sketches I will use grayscale pens, and if we draw a square here, and this pen is one I really like because the ink is actually running out in it. If we draw just a square shape here, I can then apply colour and tone to the image using my free pens. So I may want to just very quickly put a light tone across the top, a slightly heavier tone down the side. I might do that with that. And then to add to the 3D effect, I might put a very dark tone down the side. And that's how I work basically with my my brush pens. I will occasionally use a normal liner pen when I'm doing my pen and wash. These pens are slightly more interesting. These are bits of, well, this one is a piece of bamboo and a matchstick. This is just a normal piece of twig that I've picked up and just gently shaped on the end. And this is another piece of stick that I've actually used a pencil sharpener on to create a more nib-like part to the pen. So how might I go about making one of those pens? It's quite simple really. I'll go out for a walk and I'll just pick up a piece of twig. I think this is a piece of oak that was in the path, and you need a pair of cutting shears. So let's go and make ourselves a pen. So the first thing to do is to cut your pen to a kind of a nice length, and I'm going to cut it here, and I'm going to cut at an angle across here. Now as you can see, I've got a nice angle there, and I could actually use that for a pen. This end of the stick I might gently just cut off the ends a bit, just gently shaping it. It's a strange piece of kit to have in your sketch when you go out, but always useful. A nice pair of cutting shears when you're out and about. And there you go, you can see started to make a nib shape there. I might just do that a little bit more. There we go, that's better. So now you see I've got a nice nib. I can brush that across the surface of the paper. I'm just going to take that knobble off there because I think that will probably drag, and I can feel it dragging. There you go. So that's the start of a pen. If you don't want to do that, you can again just cut your stick to the length that you want it, and then again very just making the whole thing just a little bit narrower, and then when it's at a sort of a certain shape, you can then start to put it into a pencil sharpener and really start to get a point onto the pen, just gently twisting it in the pencil sharpener, and it will start to make a nib. If you carry on like that, you'll end up with a nicer pen. So now we've got our pen, let's have a look at how we might make some marks on the paper. So I've opened my bottle of ink. I've got my pen, and I'm just going to dip it in and get a nice bit of ink on here. The first time you use it, it may not quite produce the lines that you want, so let's have a look and just brush that off a bit. So let's just test to see what this produces. Sort of a nice line. If you twist and turn, you can see getting quite nice shapes there. I can also drag the thing down. I'm getting some nice sort of lines there. Oh, there we go. Perfect, wonderful line there. So I might use the side of the pen, and as you use it, it will become, the ink will flow better from the nib, and try and explore all the different angles and facets of the pen. Oh, there, look at that. Oh, that's a nice mark. And you'll notice that I'm not holding the pen right down here. That's not just so that I don't get my hands all messy. But if you hold it towards the end, you get kind of a nicer kind of sort of way of working. So let's just illustrate that. If I just make that into some shapes there, and then if I want to pull a tree out of this shape, I can. If I'm using the side of the pen, I can really kind of get that pen to do what I really want it to do, and nice sort of relaxed marks, really. It's a nice sort of, let's put something in there. Yeah, that's nice. And as you can see, I'm just gently, lightly touching the paper. I'm not pressing into the paper, and that helps to produce some of these sort of marks that you might see. When you're out drawing. So this is a lovely sort of thing to use. This is just normal cartridge paper, but you can use the pen obviously on all sorts of paper. So this is watercolor paper, and as you can see, because of the marks and the texture of the paper, the ink is not always hitting where you want it to, so you get some lovely sort of broken marks when you use it this way. Again, making another nice tree. I might want to thicken some of those branches up, scratch into there. Again, just using the side of the pen really. And it really is it's a wonderful tool to use. There's so many different things you can do with the pen. If I show you the matchstick one, the matchstick pen also gives a gives a slightly different line, sort of a more even line, thicker line maybe, but it's the same kind of thing. You can't so easily scratch up with the pen, but it does give you, if you're looking for some sort of fine lines, this is a nice pen to use, so you can kind of draw a simple house there. See, the pen's working really well and giving me some really nice marks there. If I try, this is my favourite one at the moment. This is a piece of my old apple tree, and I really can, with this one, really make some nice luscious marks with it. I'm going to put that down there, and you start to see things emerging. Let's put some nice bits and pieces in there, and maybe we can put some, start to make an image there. And when the pen, if you use it, when the pen becomes kind of drier, you can make some really quite nice sort of lighter marks, particularly on watercolour paper. We can add in some kind of leaves on the end of the sort of wintry trees. Again, just using the side of the pen with not much ink left on it. And you start to see sort of things appearing, which I do like when I'm using these pens. So that's how I might start to draw with the pen. But I also use a brush with my ink as well to create tonal contrast within my image. Now, how might we do that? So as you can see, I've got my my ink here, and that's made using this lovely sort of ink stick that I just you can mix to quite a nice consistency. You dip your brush in. Let's just check. See, oh, we got some nice sort of dark ink there. I wash the brush out and then move some of this water up here. We can start to get a lighter tone, and if I add even more water, we can get a really light tone. So you can see the tonal values that I can get using this ink and some water. So let's try and pull that all together and do a very quick demo sketch for you using some and all of those techniques. So here we go, I've got my ink ready up here. Let's do some drawing first of all. So here we go, let's put my stick in the pen, ink I mean, and let's draw oh, that's a nice tree, isn't it? There's quite a lot of ink on here, so let's make another one here. There we go, and then let's pull out some twigs. This one I'm going to push, let's put some more ink on there. Not really thinking too much. Again, holding the pen very much at the, and particularly for these lighter branches up here. Let's put a fence in, see if the ink is sort of ready. Oh no, it's not quite. We've still got some ink on there, so let's put some fence in here. That's sort of just a mark that's coming through there like that. And then let's just stroke in some those odd little branches that we might have. Now I'm going to use my brush now. I'm going to start off with some fairly dark ink. I need to test that, let's just see what it's doing. There we go, it's quite dark there, so let's have a look at that. That's better. So I'm going to put in some background hills here. some nice sort of, maybe some, throw some shadow down into there. There we go. Really add some water now. And start to add in some sky. Probably my favourite part of a paint, I think, sky. Just gently going to bring that into the picture. Just using the edge of the brush. There's some nice, oh look at that, nice and darks happening there. Let's try and limit the damage a little bit. There we go. And you'll see this ink dries really nice and quickly, so we can actually, once that's starting to dry, we can go back in just add some more stripy marks through here. Just add some sort of tree business happening in there, sort of some nice sort of downward strokes. There we go. So there you can see we've used a mixture of the ink and the Chinese ink there, and the brushes, and we've made quite a nice little image there. We can see lots of tones and it looks quite nice as an image. So maybe give that a go. Cut yourself a pen, get yourself some Indian ink, wash it down, make some lighter tones, and let me know how you get on in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave me a like, and if you're feeling especially generous, why don't you subscribe to my channel? Okay, thank you for watching. Bye.